Bear with me.
It's too late now, we're live. Wait, we're live now.
We're live.
Yeah, we are on, and hopefully this doesn't break.
Oh, Jesus, that's our worst problem.
So he just get to sit down and like watch, just talk. I have to make sure that the fucking thing doesn't like crash and shit, which is not at all awkward, like at all.
I'm sure.
More pressure on you.
Anyway, what do we all think of Money in the Bank? Because I thought it was a load of meh.
A load of what?
Yeah.
A load of meh. I didn't think it was great at all. I honestly,
right.
I thought the women's Money in the Bank match was shite.
The opener.
That was the opener. Bar the ending.
The ending was fantastic.
I don't
Yeah. The ending was good though.
Everyone was getting annoyed at it, and I was just sitting there going, "This is genius." And also the fact it wouldn't make any sense right now if she just decided, "Fuck it, I'm going to do my own thing." After using him for the last what? How long have they been each other? 8 months? 6 months?
6 odd months, yeah.
6 odd months now. Why would she just, with no build up, just go, "No, I'm going to do this by myself now. Fuck off."
Because it's WWE, they don't really do that.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that with her because it's just, and also it just. Apparently as well, this idea of him being with one of the divas was like passed around to everyone, and she was literally the only person that said yeah, like nobody else wanted it, none of the heels wanted it. So I'm assuming around the time it started, I'm assuming Alexa Bliss got offered it, and fucking a couple of them, Mickey James and all of them, and they just all said no because they thought it was death, and she just took it and went, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Like there was no reason to think it was really death because there was a kind of a hype around Ellsworth at the time because he had his little thing with Strowman, and then he came to SmackDown and he got involved in Styles and all that.
Yeah. I think why they thought it was death was because then after that he just was sort of there, so he wasn't doing much, and everyone just assumed then, "Oh yeah, well of course." So it's like it just seemed make sense that like, oh, his thing is done now. His 15 minutes of fame are just well and truly up. I did not expect him to be still around now. I thought he would have just out his contract and just left.
It was like a 6-week trend turned into a 2-year contract for no reason.
Yeah, but he's been good for Carmella, let's be honest. He really is fantastic with her.
Well, Carmella's been actually good for him as well.
Say again?
Carmella's been good for him as well.
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, they work together, like they do work.
Yeah, they do.
The visual work.
They shouldn't, but they do because it's ridiculous. I don't know. I just thought the ending was good, and I thought she deserved to win it. It just, that somebody was trying. I'm not going to name his name, but he used to be part of the group, but like Japanese wrestling a little bit too much, took everything a bit too seriously.
Oh God.
I'm sure we all know who he is. He said, "Why didn't you give it to Natalia or Tamina if you wanted to give it to a heel?" Mm-hmm. And I was just like, well, Natalia is a good wrestler, but Christ, she's got no charisma.
Why wouldn't you give it to Tamina?
Well, when I give it to Tamina, because she's terrible. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but as well, did she debut with the Usos when they came in first?
Tamina?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was she their manager? So they've been in there what, 6-7 years now?
Roughly that, yeah. 6 to 7.
So let's say there's 7 years. I could be wrong, but I'm nearly certain her longest run in that 7 years has been about what, 6-7 months, and she's just got
AJ, wasn't she? She was kind of.
She was with AJ. Every single time she came back as this like big badass healer, and then she fucked her knee up, or she did something to herself, and she just went back into. She's been out. I know she's definitely been out more than she's in here, and even at that, like no one cares. Like her music hit the other night, and it was just silence.
Silence, yeah.
No one gives a shit.
She's pretty cringy on the mic as well. She's terrible on the microphone. So
yeah,
it's kind of her carrying the main storyline.
What was that thing from the other night? What was it? If I smack you, you're going to turn into James Ellsworth or something? Did Charlotte say that?
It's Charlotte.
Yeah, she copied Charlotte. You're sitting there going, she inherited some stuff, but she did not inherit the microphone skills of most of what the Samoans have is like really good like microphone skills and like charisma. She did not inherit. Yeah, and she inherited none of that.
No.
At all.
Really didn't. No.
So.
But I'm not bragging on Tamina. Poor Tamina.
What were the other matches? The tag team title match, that was ours.
Yeah, it was average.
That was essentially the whole show. That tag team title match was the setup for the whole show because none of it made like me go, oh yay. It was just, that finished. Here's the next match. That finished.
Moments in it, but like it was fairly obvious for the ages that like it was and how it ended.
What do you mean, like how all the matches ended? Just
well, no, like not like all of the matches, but like that one in particular, definitely. But I predicted most of the matches beforehand. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew Ellsworth was going to go up. I knew Jinder was going to hang on somehow.
That Jinder match was given away the moment the legends came out. You were like, oh yeah, he's winning, because there's no way you're going to do it. Just because Vince
sitting in the crowd on Father's Day.
He's losing and he's going to lose there too, and he lost the exact same way as well as the first time, like the exact same way as the first time.
Yeah. It's Randy Orton. He doesn't learn. He never learns.
Just a bit of fucking, like, he should have thought, wait, if I attack them, no, maybe Jinder might be behind me. Nah, fuck it, just batter him there for a couple of minutes. Steve, it was nearly carbon copy of how it ended the last time. Like, the only difference was instead of the double.
Yeah, it was pretty much the exact same match. Like, pretty much the exact same match.
Yeah. The only difference in the ending was the elevated DDT was not off the ring ropes this time, it was off the barricade. And that was about it.
That's it, yeah.
Well, that was the only difference.
I mean, I liked it, but his matches were terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember where I read it, but somebody said he should retire or something.
Who, Orton or Jinder?
Orton.
Orton should have retired a long time ago, but he's still around.
I think really he has left to do because they're hardly going to go and push him as much as they push Cena. Like, he's not going to get up near Cena's record or anything.
No, I don't. Although...
nothing left to achieve.
No, he's won everything. Has he won everything?
The only thing he's actually putting over Jinder, but then again, he's going over because he's getting kind of ruined each time. But I suppose lose clean.
We're gonna have to say that all again because it all just didn't come true properly. So I didn't know any of that.
What bit did you hear last?
I heard none of it. You literally started talking, it got all like scratchy and shit, and I just didn't hear any of it. So you're gonna have to repeat more or less everything again.
Okay, pretty much like at least he's putting over people. He's putting over Jinder, but he's only putting them over by being screwed each time. Like he's not losing clean.
Well, heels don't win.
That's his problem.
But heels are not supposed to win clean anyway.
True.
It's always supposed to be a fuck finish. He's never supposed to. Oh, I think unless it's the end, like the end of the feud. But I think
as well, it doesn't make him look bad.
Yeah, but I think the whole thing works anyway. Unless you completely take out the two Singh brothers out of the match, which apparently might happen at Battleground or SummerSlam.
How come they're doing a Punjabi prison match?
Yeah, I heard about that. They want to do that.
No.
Better than the last one. At least this time you'll at least have someone who can work a Punjabi prison match from India. Unlike the Greg Khali who just sort of sauntered around for 45 fucking minutes and left.
Did he not get injured or something and it was Big Show replaced him or something? Or was he supposed to be against Big Show? Somebody got injured in that match. Because that match didn't go ahead the way it was supposed to.
I think it was Batista or Undertaker who was meant to fight and they got injured and he ended up fighting Big Show instead.
So it wasn't
I didn't really I be honest, I did not watch wrestling around then. So
I was barely watching it around then. I think that's where the time I kind of stopped for a good couple of years.
Yeah, I stopped.
It was pretty bad.
I stopped after what, WrestleMania 19 sometime around that time. I didn't start watching again until Mayweather faced Big Show. That's when I decided, oh yeah, I gotta stop watching. It's been 6 years. It was utter shite.
5 years. Punk brought me back.
What other matches were there, lads? I'm sketchy. That whole pay-per-view, the other 3-4 matches I remember, the tag team match, the WWE title match, the 2 Money in the Bank matches, and that's it.
There was the
Breezango.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ascension.
That was... I don't know what I expected, but I did not expect the Ascension. They just sort of...
They don't really exist for a few months and then just pop up.
Who else on the SmackDown roster has those silhouettes? And as a tag team?
I know, but... It's just... I was waiting for it. I was like... Maybe they might pull a fast one and put the Authors of Pain up. I knew that was going to happen. But I still had this hope. And then when the Ascension's music played, I went... Oh, I don't care now. I just switched it off. I didn't even watch the match. I knew they were going to win, so...
It was kind of random. Their offices got trashed, and it's like, well, what reason have the Ascension to trash their office?
Yeah, they never give a reason. It's just... They didn't even give a reason on SmackDown. They just did it for the sake of doing it, it seemed. I don't know. The whole thing seemed...
Magic, woohoo.
I thought... The idea I had in my head, away from Authors of Pain, which was a long show, I thought maybe it might have been Mike Bennett and Maria. I thought that was the way they were going to put them out there. And just kind of... Because there was a...
They couldn't have spun a feud, though. They couldn't have made that into a feud, so...
I think they could have made that into a feud, I think.
Now with the faces having a handicap advantage 2-on-1.
Yeah. Look at easy brought somebody else in though.
Yeah, but there's not really much of a mid-card heel in SmackDown.
That's because they have fucking no mid-card. It's just lower card and fucking main event, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That again?
Yeah, it is quite strange. Like, there is a serious lack of mid-cards on SmackDown. Like, you're having Kevin Owens as the US champion, and you have AJ Styles, who is the #1 contender, although they seem to be ignoring that. Like, you're making 2 of your top guys mid-carders, just to kind of have mid-card.
I'm fine with that, though. That I'm cool with, because that...
It makes the belt.
It makes the belt important. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's like, when they're done with that, right? So when Styles is finished with that, he has to go for the WWE title. But the rumours that I read the other day was it's going to be Cena that's going to go for it, and then that lead into SummerSlam, and whoever wins out of SummerSlam is immediately going to lose the belt to Corbin. He's going to cash in immediately.
There was talk of Cena winning, breaking the record, and then losing straight away, and people have been going mad just at the even mention of that happening. I've seen a breaking Flair's record, and then losing the title within minutes.
He didn't hold it for that long last time, anyway. So
equaling it is one thing, but like beating it and only holding it for 5 minutes is completely different. Other thing, like, that's just doesn't really work. I don't know that. I'd rather he'd have a good reign till Mania or something like that, and then lose it to.
It's part time though. I mean, if they're going to give him the belt, now's the chance, because he's only going to have a smaller schedule from now on.
I'd rather he won it at SummerSlam, kept it to Survivor Series, beat whoever he was going to face at Survivor Series, then lose to a cash-in, get Corbin keep it till the Rumble, and then let Styles beat him at the Rumble, and then Styles and Nakamura Romania.
It's
a dream match, yeah.
Another thing people are thinking of as well is because Cena's going to be a free agent, that he's going to end up facing Reigns at next year's WrestleMania for the title.
Nah, Reigns is facing
Reigns Lesnar, man.
Yeah, that's 21-1 versus the man who ended his career. It seems a lot more fitting for the two of them to face each other. But even with Reigns saying he wants to face the champion at SummerSlam,
it's not happening.
That's not going to happen. But then again, they backed themselves into a corner, so I don't even know if it won't happen now, because his Strowman feud is going to end after the next match. I don't see, because otherwise then you're really pushing it, like, which I suppose is not really a bad thing. But then after that, who did he face? Apparently, the Miz was getting thrown around a couple of weeks ago, but I don't see how that benefits the Miz at all. Him losing the Intercontinental title. I don't know how it benefits.
Miz can take a loss pretty easily, though.
Well,
Oh, can he though? He'll suffer. It'd be like losing to Cena at the same time. A couple of years.
Miz is established now. He's kind of the mid-card guy that's always there.
suffering, like, you know, Raw.
I didn't get any of that done.
I think Miz is suffering by being on Raw. He was much better on SmackDown. He made himself again, and then just got shipped off to Raw.
Yeah, he suffers without talking smack.
Too similar to Maria and Mike.
That would have been a great feud. We slapped the two of them against each other. That seems stupid.
Really good.
I suppose by that.
Maurice and Cena and Nikki.
I didn't get any of that again, Ben.
Is it the bad connection or is it just my voice?
No, it's the bad connection, and your connection seems to be fine, from what I can gather. I don't know what's going on.
What was it? Yeah. No, if they had stayed on SmackDown and then you had that feud, it would have been a much better feud than the one they had with Cena and Nikki at WrestleMania.
That one that they had, that feud was amazing. Just for
Really good. The promos were insane.
Just the promos from The Miz were just fantastic. Some of the funniest things ever. It was spot on too.
Like, their impersonations of them were brilliant.
Yeah. They were just spot on. I don't know where I heard this. Did I hear this with OSW or something like that? Because they did a review of WrestleMania because they were there. But it's like, it seems like something that Vince completely vetoed until he got like a shitty clip of it in front of him. So like, Vince just went out of his way to film it, and then he showed it to him, and it goes, "Oh, that's brilliant, just go with it." Because I don't see McMahon coming up with that by himself. Or even the SmackDown writing team coming up with that by themselves. But I suppose stranger things have happened. Anyway.
It's maybe not.
What Maria and Mike Bennett did, well, Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis, which is kind of hilarious, that they just decided, fuck it, let's just give him her second name, because clearly that makes more people care, because no one's going to give a shit otherwise.
Well, no, they have a good entrance team. People will talk.
Yeah, it's about Maria and Mike.
But is he only the second person, from my recollection, to skip NXT and go straight to the main roster from the Indies? Because the only other person I can think of is Styles.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much. There was the Anderson and Gallows, but that was about all.
Oh, Anderson and Gallows, yeah. But at least Anderson and Gallows, they didn't need NXT. Because they were big stars in Japan, so you're fine with them going up to the main roster.
From there. They had the hype behind them.
Say that again?
They already had the hype behind them, like when they made the big announcement on the website and everything, so they were making everybody aware of them before they came. Most of the ones, they have to build them up in NXT, do their little promos and stuff, and then bring them in.
Yeah, I don't know. It just... Anytime they skip NXT, you're like, fine, it doesn't make sense. It's just that they're too good for NXT. So at least Anderson had Gallows behind him, and Gallows already had like 2 separate runs in the company. AJ Styles was never going into fucking NXT because he was just too big a star for that place. But Mike Bennett has, to a casual WWE fan, no real name recognition.
True. Like, I barely know him. I only know him because of Maria, and I don't like Maria as it is, so that doesn't help me like him.
I kind of only know him as well because of Maria. I know some of his Ring of Honor stuff, and I know some of his TNA stuff.
Her name then, so.
Well, like, it just seemed like it was, I don't know. I don't think that was a Triple H idea. That was definitely somebody like fucking around with him to fuck with him or something. Or maybe it was Nikki just going, now bring up straight to the main roster, watch her fail, and then just bring out fire her again. Because apparently they don't like each other at all.
No, I just think it was a Vince McMahon signing.
It's going to be interesting if Nikki comes back because she'll be on the same show as her then.
Yeah, and do you ever watch?
She's supposed to be coming back.
Say that again?
She's supposed to be coming back soon as well because she put up like a videos recently of herself training.
Yeah, but give a fuck.
The way the women's division is on SmackDown right now, she's better off staying away.
Yeah, you see the divide as well. You see the clear, obvious opposites as well when she's on that roster. Because it's like wrestlers and that one that used to be a diva and I was trying to be a wrestler. It's not a fucking wrestler. She just about handles herself in the ring. I mean that very loosely, just about handles herself in the ring.
That's only
At least she's better.
I repeat that again?
Like, it took her a long while to get there as a wrestler, and that's only because John helped her.
Yeah. And so, yeah, since the two of them started going out with John and Daniel, the two of them got much better. Like, much better than they fucking were before. Like, oh, what the fuck? Oh.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, this laptop is a piece of shit, as I've said a million times, and it just decides to do random shit for me when I don't want it to.
Sounds fun.
Oh, it's fucking great. Right, I seem to fix it now again. Yeah, but she's not that good. Well, at least she's better than she used to be. But you know what really annoys me? That two of them take credit for the Divas Revolution happening. When I actually think the only reason they take credit for that is just they happened to be in the ring when that trend started. Because it was after one of their matches that people were just getting completely sick of the fucking Divas only getting 4 or 5 minute matches. And now it's just like she didn't really start it. It was kind of AJ and Paige and Emma and all those girls from NXT. Like the first crop.
NXT Revolution. That the 4 horsewomen, there's no women's revolution.
Well, no, because even when that started, the women's revolution, it didn't really start with the 4 of them because the 4 of them weren't putting on matches yet. Not great matches, not fantastic matches that you're going to think of. It was Paige and Emma who started putting out the classics. Then it was Charlotte and Natalia. They started putting out great matches, and it was just after the trend started that was just when we were starting getting really good divas by women's wrestling in NXT.
Yeah, but
then you had your Charlotte and Bailey.
That was the that proved to Vince that they could headline a show.
Oh yeah.
It was without NXT.
Apparently, according to Gail Kim, like what was said to her by Vince, or somebody said that Vince said that no one wants to watch the women fight like men. And Triple H.
Yeah.
And Triple H.
Just like, oh, you're really good. Don't listen to the alpha.
Yeah. I don't know who goes, don't listen to the old lad. Come on, see, he's old. He's kicking out, I mean.
I could see Triple H saying that to somebody.
Yeah.
Irish roots. I didn't think Triple H did.
Say that again?
I know Vince has Irish roots. I just didn't know Triple H did.
Let's repeat that again. I can't hear.
The moment's gone, doesn't matter.
Moment's gone, yeah. It's past.
Oh, yeah. I just pretend that I heard it. Ha
Yeah. So, should we go on to the main event, maybe? Yes.
It was a bunch of blindness added in with one good moment, I thought.
That was good by, like, today's standards.
The only good part that I remembered outright, because somebody asked me about it the day after. He was dying about in the place that I used to work. He's like a mad wrestling fan. A proper wrestling fan too, like owns Butter Club shit. Loves Japanese wrestling. He goes, "Did you watch?" I said, "Yeah." And I go, "It's the only thing that I can honestly say that you should watch is when Nakamura comes in, and then there's just that moment when they're standing in front of each other and they're like."
I thought there was a lot of good moments in the match.
I can't.
Kevin Owens nearly killed.
Oh, the suplex on the side. Oh yeah, that was good.
3 times. I was like, okay, Owens is dead.
Yeah, he looked at you. Saw that like a fucking champ. I hate that these days though. That fucking suplexes or DDTs on the side. Like the thing is, that is literally the hardest part of a ring. I've got slammed on it before. It is not fun. It hurts like a bitch. So
no, I've actually, this has been disproved by some people I know. The WWE rings, the apron is actually pretty alright. Like,
but still, it's been ingrained into people that that's supposed to be the hardest. But even not the WWE, just in general on like the indies and shit.
Yeah, the indies is the worst part, but I think WWE's is a bit better.
But it's like the go-to part to like have a shock move, which yeah, fine. But once you do it 15 times in one match with 10 different moves, you're like, I'm immune onto it. Like, fuck. I don't give a fuck if you slap your head off it because it just it loses its fucking. What is it? Aura, or just loses whatever it's supposed to have. It just loses it.
Yeah.
With one of my many problems with independent wrestling these days.
Oh, .IF.
Which I loved, by the way. Actually, do you know the fella who tweeted out that first? That wasn't Randy Orton. Do you know the fella who actually tweeted it out? Was it
Rip Rogers, wasn't it?
Yeah. He was on Jim Cornette's podcast about 2 weeks after that.
Oh my god.
The first 15 minutes of that with some of the most politically incorrect shit I've ever heard in my life. Because clearly he stopped at the 80s and just was calling women cunts and shit for no reason. Because he was taking the piss out of the fact that, you know, he was talking about like our generation always on their phones and shit, they're not paying attention to what they're doing. And you should go back and listen to it because that podcast, that whole interview was some of the funniest stuff I ever heard. But he knows his shit, like. But
he's a big trainer in wrestling. He must know what he's on about.
Yeah, and he worked a lot in the 80s and some of the 90s, but he never seemed to. And I've watched some of his stuff. I've watched a lot of his stuff in the last couple of weeks. Why he was never picked up properly or used properly by like the WWE or WCW is beyond me.
Is he a smaller guy, maybe?
Didn't really matter. He's a big fucker.
Oh.
I think he was a bodybuilder as well. So he was a big cunt. But yeah, the Money in the Bank match is just it's not what we haven't seen before. It's not really exciting. I don't know. I just say it's not a lot. It needs something new, and I don't know what it is because it's lost this kind of.
It's a break, kind of, doesn't it? All gimmick matches get kind of too much after 1 year. I can't tell.
Say again?
All gimmick matches lose their appeal after there's so many.
Well, it's not even the appeal because I'm still going to watch it because it is one of the at this right now it's one of the 5 pay-per-views I watch a year. I watch the Big Four and I watch Money in the Bank, and if like Great Balls of Fire, I'm probably going to watch that just for the main event. Yeah. But like, I don't really care about the rest of them. I think Money in the Bank should be a 2-brand pay-per-view though, because that was sorely needing like some raw talent, some extra matches and shit like that. Because I'm sorry, but I like Breeze Dango, but really,
as a 2-brand match, would you then have both brands in one match or 2 separate matches?
Both brands in one match, like it used to be.
Yeah, that could have been very interesting then, yes, because then you could have went back to having 6 or 7 men rather than 5.
Yeah, you could have had 6 with 3 each for both matches. Because I liked when that was the case, because then you would have the one briefcase all going to like sometimes all 3 shows, but mainly just Raw and SmackDown. It's not a there with the fucking briefcase just freaking people out, because it just adds that little bit more, like, because they're not just part of really, they are from SmackDown or they are from Raw, but they can kind of chop and change now between brands. Because Punk did that a lot when he won it first. Because he started in ECW and he was freaking people out there. He was kind of holding a case and just teasing it. And then he did it then on SmackDown, and then he eventually did it on Raw when he cashed in against Edge.
I can't remember who he cashed in on first.
Edge. Yeah.
He won 2 years in a row, didn't he?
Say again?
2 years in a row.
You'll have to say that again.
Won Money in the Bank 2 years in a row.
Yeah. 24 and 25. I think, was he the last person to win it? No, it was Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger was the last one to win it at Mania. Punk won it 2 times before that. Kennedy won it before him. Van Damme won it before him. And then Edge won it before him.
Yeah.
That's off the top of my head, so if I've forgotten anyone between, it must have been very fucking shit. When Swagger won that first, I was like, this is great because he looks like a fucking badass. The same night, they completely cancelled out his character and made him pointless because he came out with a suit instead of talking slow. The start of the show had that with Jericho, and the end of it had it with Swagger, and it was like, whose fucking idea was that? Someone in the back must have thought, oh no, lads. Jericho's been doing this for months. Why are we going to get him now to wear a suit and talk slow? Just makes no sense to me. That booking seems arseways.
Vince doesn't really surprise you that he books things badly.
I know at that point though the 2 separate writing teams, because I think that was the last year. Like the last proper year with the brand split. Before they just thought I can just give up now. What was that? What was that? 8 years ago? 6 years ago? 8 years ago. Because it was 7 years ago, sorry. Because, yeah, I was 26. Yeah, so it was 7 years ago when that happened. That was probably the last proper year with that brand split before they did it again. Or lads were just hopping, fucking chopping and changing between fucking brands for just the shits and giggles.
Yeah, the super shows that ended up happening every week.
The super shows ended up having every week because they were getting battered by the NFL, so they thought that might help.
Them super shows is what killed SmackDown then, completely.
Yeah, because no one cared then anymore. It's like, why am I going to tune in for this when they're all going to be online? So.
You see everybody in one show. Why would you watch SmackDown? Nothing happens.
And SmackDown meant only had SmackDown guys, which made no fucking sense to me.
You just have SmackDown guys doing double duty.
Yeah. That was Money in the Bank. Glad we talked about that because we just focus on everything else but. Oh. Then Raw happened.
Yep.
The only 2 things I remember that from Raw is Strowman and Enzo and Cass breaking up. After.
That's pretty much all that happened. There was a Divas thing, or a women's thing, but I can't remember.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that annoyed me. Yeah, did we any of you on Twitter when Raw was going on, and it just got to like that point, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was just, you know, the tweets going, where are the women? Where are the women on? And you're just like, because maybe there was no time for them, and they came on, they only had about 10 minutes to do what they needed to do, and people complaining they didn't get enough time. I'm like,
people are never happy with the women's revolution. They're just.
I can't even remember the women's segment.
I don't know what it was either. I think it might have involved Sasha.
I think it involved all of them. That's what people were complaining about. They paraded them all out again, or something. I can't remember.
It seemed it was kind of like, this is your time now. Deal with it. All right, go on, Subway. Fuck off. We need to get on to more important shit like breaking up what was the most popular tag team in the fucking company not 6 months ago, and now can barely even get a fucking reaction.
Oh, that's because people don't like Enzo anymore.
No, people like Enzo. It was the Hardys coming in that killed that.
Yeah, kind of, but they had the same match like every week.
That's what they're for. I'm cool with breaking them up. Just.
It's too soon.
It's not even that it's too soon. It's that Enzo can go down to the cruiserweights, which is what is the plan for him. He's going to go into the cruiserweight division. Grand. That might work out for him great. He might get that belt in about a year. But where does Cass fit into a roster that has 3 big bastards already? in Strowman, Lesnar part time, and I suppose Reigns to an extent.
Well, he looked pretty good last year when they put him into the main event for a week or two.
He looked good, but
And he was really good in those segments. I mean, he can work, really, in that kind of level.
Test.
Did you say he was Test?
For obvious reasons.
No, he might be good. It seems like he's going to get lost. I say he's going to get lost there for a bit.
The whole thing, his whole thing was like he coming out with Enzo, and Enzo would introduce him, and then he'd say his little bit. I don't understand what he's going to do on his own.
Yeah, that's the thing. Enzo will keep the shtick, but Cass has to come up with something new.
Enzo can rework it for himself, but like, what the hell does Cass do now?
Yeah, that's the big problem. That's the question, I suppose.
I'd be interested to see what kind of music they give him, because they can't exactly keep him with the same music because it's Enzo singing in the music.
I'm trying to think who he feuds against.
Balor?
Oh God!
He's going to have a match with Enzo, and then he's going to have a match with Big Show. So I'm guessing Big Show's going to try and defend Enzo.
Yeah,
I would like that.
I won't mind it. Yeah, but even after that, that's not going to last long. That's still going to only last 2 months.
That's grand.
Yeah,
That's a pay-per-view or two, but like, what after that? There's no real plan after that. Unless
then you have Rollins Balor free.
Next year. Or build up like they would have with Reigns or that, like have him like get into like the final four of the Rumble or something.
Yeah, I suppose if you built him up well, you could probably get him an IC one. You could.
Better than the IC title.
Who? Cass?
He's probably a level just a step up from.
No, not by himself.
No. Well,
Cass also needs a mouthpiece.
I don't know. He's good on the mic himself.
He's fine on the mic, but it's blatantly obvious that he's not as good as a lot of people. Like, he's fine, but he'd still need that one person, like a Paul Heyman or someone like that, to speak for him.
Yeah.
Leave him cause damage and leave Heyman speak for him. Not saying put him with Heyman, but to have someone like that by his side or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was to side with Paul Heyman at some stage, and then Paul Heyman was turning on Lesnar again, and it would be big. That guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if Paul Heyman turned on Lesnar ages ago, but
who would he have done it with?
The Mark and me wants Reigns. The Mark and me said Reigns a long time ago.
The whole thing about that then is Reigns then a heel, or is he a face then because he's with Heyman?
I think he probably. Who said it? What is it? Your best heels are faces first, and your best faces are heels first. He was fine. Reigns was doing good till people realised, shit, they broke up. Fuck, he's going to be the next big guy, and they just started shitting on him immediately. That's why the first Rumble, when he nearly won, Batista won it, people wanted it because he was part of the Shield, and it was like, oh, it's going to be amazing. But then when the next year I rolled around, and not even The Rock could get him over, so because people were like, alright, we liked Reigns. Please, no. No, and not, no.
Second, done completely wrong. Like, if they had him win the first year, there wouldn't be this much hate for him now.
Yeah. The one time he got cheered properly, or I'm basing this entirely off social media, which I shouldn't. The first time in my recollection that he got cheered properly, and people were like, "Oh fuck, I actually want to see what he does here." It was after he won After he beat Taker, and then he went out on Raw the next night, stood there for 10 minutes, listened to whatever happened, said, "This is my yard now," or something like that, and dropped the microphone, and we're like, that was good. and then the next week it was gone, and they were just like, why? That was nuclear heat as well that time. My brother was watching that with me, and he likes watching wrestling, but oh my god, he sit there and go, that was taste.
There was like 5 or 10 minutes worth of the crowd just screaming at him.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was the best. It was one of my favorite. I think that Mike Gordon was one of my favorite moments on Raw in the last decade.
It was like he just completely ignores it, says his line, drops the mic, and fucks off.
And you're just like, is this a heel raid? Are they actually going to do it? Are they not going to fuck this up? Because even if you turn him heel, he could be a face in a year.
Yeah.
A face that people will love in a year.
I mean, for the love of God, he's related to The Rock. See what you did with The Rock. Do that.
That seems so obvious.
Exactly.
It's obvious to us, but obviously the fact is, when we want something, they do their best to not give it to us.
And also, as well, it's I think Vince is sitting up in his office going, fuck them anyway. If I want to turn him heel, I'll turn him heel. Don't you tell me to turn him heel.
But honest to God, if we all started cheering him and accepting him as a face, right straight away, Vince would go and turn him heel.
Yep. Shadow of a doubt. Can you imagine if he was the one who turned instead of Rollins when they broke up the Shield?
That would have made more sense, but
that Rollins heel turn was great, but
it was perfectly done. The thing that still annoys me is then when he came back from being injured and he had his chance to turn again and they just didn't bother going down that road.
That was weird.
It's the guy everybody was looking forward to seeing going back, that had his whole journey and everything, and then gets cheered and then cuts a heel promo. It's what? Still annoys me. I have memories going up Facebook there not that long ago when it came up oh no.
And he's turned stale now as well. Can somebody tell me why is him and Bray feuding?
Oh,
what was the reason?
Bray has just been battered around Raw. I don't know what's going on with him.
Oh my god, who decided fucking to bring him to Raw?
He was doing grand on SmackDown. Then the whole thing is, he brought him out, then he had him, he came out for Finn as if he was going after Finn. Then that just miraculously stopped.
There's actually a good reason behind that, because they know a Finn-Bray feud with the Demon and Bray will be money, so they want that to be a long-term thing, whereas this Seth Rollins thing might not last that long. So it's just going to be a flash in the pan and just finish it off after SummerSlam. They want the Bray and Finn thing to actually last and fucking build to something big enough, end of the Survivor Series.
The main problem I have with the WWE right now, their storylines, stuff they do for just no reason. They throw feuds together with no explanation, no build-up, nothing. When they're having a pay-per-view every 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it is, there's no build-up. If they were to have a feud carry across from one pay-per-view to another, you could actually build up something, but they don't bother.
No. Because why the fuck would you? Oh shit.
Yeah, who needs storylines? Storylines aren't important at all.
They should. I can see why they won't do the whole one pay-per-view a month and chop and change it for you on SmackDown, because the last time they did that, the brand split first. Raw's pay-per-views did well. SmackDown's pay-per-views did fuck all business. They were only tipping on 100,000 buys to fucking go, if that. They weren't doing good business, because around that same time you had JBL as champion and Lesnar wasn't on the brand anymore, and Angle really wasn't on the brand anymore because he was at ECW at that point. Guerrero was there, but they just didn't do great business. So from a business sense, I can see them not wanting to take that risk and just saying, fuck it, let's just do 2 pay-per-views every 2 weeks. But still,
with the network, it's different. With the network now,
I still don't think
it's really different landscape, and scheduling is just
yeah.
people pick and choose. No matter how often they have pay-per-views, you're only going to watch like 2 matches.
Yeah, really. I don't know. I had to pay attention to 1 or 2 matches show now. SmackDown was the first time in a year and a half that I watched the show the entire way through. No bullshit, just sat down and watched it. Because it
so to watch. Like if you watch Raw every week, SmackDown is just dead easy to watch.
It's watchable. It's consistent.
My brother Keane and my man Paul asked me most mornings what was Raw like or what was SmackDown like, and I always say that SmackDown is just easier to watch because it just goes through. It's like as well, it just goes through it so easy. It just flows so much better.
The first hour is gone, and then you're at the second hour where you're coming up to the main event and that. Whereas with Raw, you go through the first hour and you go, oh no, we're into the fucking doldrums of Raw where like shit goes mad for about an hour and then we have to end it.
And like this week's SmackDown was great. They started with the Carmella thing. Yep. They built the whole show around it.
Yep.
Every single time they came back from a match, it was a promo about that. And then they ended the show with it to say, oh, we're having another Money in the Bank match in 2 weeks, which they're only doing because they need people to fucking watch the show because no one gives a shit anymore, because I think there's nothing on at the moment, so they need to get interest back in their shit. I don't think there's any more sport in America on at the moment. Nothing big anyway, nothing major. That.
No,
everything's over, I think. Yeah, football doesn't start again until September, the basketball doesn't start until January or some shit.
The only competition now is, what, baseball maybe? Baseball?
Baseball, I don't think baseball's even a competition for that, or
baseball's on now either.
I think baseball's on now. I could be wrong. I don't fucking know. I don't like baseball. I say I don't like baseball, but one of my favourite movies is about baseball, so I suppose we better start talking about SmackDown, so SmackDown was good, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed SmackDown. But as I say, like, the fact that it's so much easier to watch always makes it a much better show compared to Raw nearly every week. Even if Raw is good, the fact SmackDown is shorter always makes it good for them.
Yeah.
Like, it gets to the point. Everything's like, to the point. There's nothing thrown in there just for filler.
Yeah. It's just, we have to get through this quick, and we have to get the points. Then we need to get the points.
Every segment's there for a reason. It's not thrown in there for no reason.
Yeah. Which is good, like, just better for. Oh my god, my back. And if you watch NXT,
I skipped it this week.
what was there was some big. Oh, Mario was back in NXT. That was it. He's back in WWE. He's on NXT now.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's really good. Him and Nigel calling.
NXT is just genius. Oh my god, it's amazing. Did you know as well that when people get put back onto NXT, or like a good decision gets made with like developmental and shit, you know that wasn't Vince, and you know Triple H is actually listening to the people. Like,
I think Triple H loves the kind of combat sport element Ronaldo can bring, and that experience that he has.
Yeah, because he's a fucking great. He's a great announcer. Like. I can't wait for him to call the fucking Mayweather and McGregor fight. That's gonna be.
Oh yeah, that'd be
fantastic. Best thing about that fight happens the day after my birthday, so
nice.
I plan not to remember anything from that weekend.
That's the best way. That's the best weekend, though.
Oh, the best thing about usually the pub that I used to work in, then show fights like that. So usually the bigger they are, the more people stay back.
Yeah.
And usually the bigger they are, the longer it goes on for the night. Like I went from not going out at 10 o'clock to being in the pub by 12. To saying I was going home after the McGregor fight. To saying I'll go home in a couple of hours. To going to a house party, to not getting home until 10, 11 o'clock that morning. Didn't suffer from the hangover either, so it was fantastic. Really was a great night. That was when he won the 2 belts, actually. That was when he won the second lightweight title.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That was
This is probably a dumb question. Anyone watch? Oh no, what am I about? Fucking Alistair Black and Cassius Ohno. They had.
No.
That was a fucking great match in NXT.
I've heard good things about it now.
Yeah, that was really, 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 really good.
I don't think I can watch it though.
With Morrow coming back anyway.
I think Morrow's probably going to come back as well by the time the women's. I can see them doing a 3-person booth for that because JR is doing it. They might have a.
Oh, and the same commentary team. Oh, good God.
JR really low, and I think I heard some rumors going around that Lita was going to be in it as well, but that kind of.
Yeah, they need a woman announcer for a women's tournament.
Yeah.
They could do Renee Young. She's always.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I think there was talk of putting her in there because she's quite a good talker.
She's quite and she knows what she's doing because this is what she's wanted to do. I think somebody asked her on Twitter 2 or 3 days ago if she ever wants to be a wrestler, and she said no because I've been a broadcaster since my 20s, so this is what I've wanted to do. I didn't want to do wrestling, so which helps really.
She's happy to be involved in any kind of performance.
Say that again?
I'm just happy to be involved in wrestling in any way possible.
Yeah, like you notice it as well when they have people that actually like wrestling. It's better when they wanted to be broadcasters first. So that's the reason. And there's always exceptions to the rule, like McGuinness and stuff. But like, Rulio wants to be a broadcaster, so that's why he's fantastic at his job. JR wants to be a broadcaster, that's why he's fantastic at his job. Michael Cole was a broadcaster, that's the reason he's fantastic at his job. Jim Cornette was a manager, so I mean, talking like that was just natural to him. So he was good at his job. But then you have fucking David Otunga and fucking Byron Saxon. You're like, God, lads, come on.
I'm so glad Otunga hasn't appeared on Raw yet.
That's because he's filming a movie.
As soon as he comes.
He's filming a movie, isn't he?
Yeah.
The rumor is that he's not coming back.
He's not coming back?
Yeah, Booker T is. I mean, a lot of people are saying Booker T is permanently replacing him.
I don't know.
Because we don't need Otunga on Raw.
Byron Saxon's fucking awful too. God.
Bad rap. I think he was on Raw. Though. Him and Corey had a great kind of a thing. Like,
that's because Corey Graves is fucking fantastic. Again, he's an exception to that rule of wrestler going from a wrestler to an announcer. Like, not even Macho Man was good at that. He was bland at best.
What about Punk as an announcer?
Say that again?
What about Punk as an announcer?
You'll have to say that again. Punk. Oh yeah, Punk was quite good, but that's what he was actually.
Also, not forget that night he did commentary on his own.
That's weird. I think that was the last time I was actually interested in an episode of Raw. Because the funny thing about it was, my brain was racking when I was looking at it going, right, based purely on what's happening here, right? What happens when we hit the natural end, two Sheamus versus Cena? What happens then for the next 2.5 hours? What was Triple H's plan for the next 2.5 hours to fill in that type of TV? Is it going to be him sitting down just fucking talking shit and everyone that watches the story? Like,
you could switch it round. Then you could have Punk versus Cena. You could have Punk versus Sheamus. You could have Triple H versus Cena. Triple H versus Punk. Triple H versus Cena.
Genius, Daniel.
Genius.
Fucking genius. That's money right there.
Wouldn't be like half of those matches on free-to-air TV.
Wouldn't be the fucking first time they did it. I nearly saw all of them probably face each other on Raw at some point. That's what I love about WWE. Let's promote a fucking the shit out of a match for a pay-per-view, and the next night,
They redo
4,000 events. It's just like, I never got that at all. Anybody watch TNA this week? Is that a stupid fucking question to ask? 'Cause I have absolutely no idea what happens on it anymore.
I mean, I know I keep up with it a lot. For some reason, I seem to like watching TNA, so I kind of know what's happening. It's bland as fuck.
Okay then.
It never gets better. Like no matter what they do, it just
Is
doesn't improve.
Is the fact that they're in India helping anything?
It is. They at least have a crowd that makes noise.
Well, there's that stuff.
Although they've paid the crowd, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, somebody in the forum did that the other day. They started saying that we all hated TNA. It was like they literally had to pay a half. It was like 380 people, like $10 each or something like that.
Yeah, apparently it's common practice over there, but even still, I mean,
if you're an American wrestling show coming over to fucking there with someone from India on your roster and you can't set out 500 people, the fuck are you doing wrong?
everything.
Jesus Christ. I mean, like,
they're going to sell out because they love Roman Reigns. I haven't seen it.
sure, when I remember when OSW, do you know that OSW Video Podcast? Do you know those lads?
Nope.
Did you ever? But they were on about was it one of them was over in India, and when Greg Khali was on any of the shows, they'd re-edit the shows to make him go into the main event. So he was on the main event of Raw every week, which was just brilliant. Because why the fuck not have him on the main event of Raw every week? So what the fuck are they going to know? What's the difference for them? Like, they're not going to cop on the, you know.
That's almost as bad as what North Korea does.
Oh, what did they do?
The World Cup or something, they convinced people. They usually convinced the people that Portugal won the World Cup. Germany or Spain that won it instead.
Oh, when Germany won the last one, yeah.
But there were people to believe Portugal won because Portugal were the ones that knocked them out. Then it would seem better for them if they got knocked out in the eventual.
Oh, Jesus.
Once again, brilliant.
As well, where they had convinced the whole country that they had beat Brazil or something in the World Cup.
Did they who in the World Cup?
They tried to convince the country that they had beat Brazil.
Yeah, like 10-0 as well.
Yeah.
I love North Korea. Great country.
Kind of seems like a Vince McMahon kind of place. They just listen to whatever they say. He'd love it over there.
Oh, he would, yeah. Love it.
He'd get on well with your man.
Actually, yeah. That's the worst part.
But like if Dennis Rodman can get on well with him, I'm pretty sure
I am listening away that out to you lads. I just gotta fix something here. Because for some reason it's gotten really shit.
Are you having problems?
No. It's still going out. But it just looked like the video quality just dipped. But I just realised that was on my end. So, let's just forget that.
Yes. So, outside of that, there's OTT, I suppose, have announced a few big matches. So I'm not sure if you guys keep up with that a lot. Or...
They announced Ricochet versus Matt Sydal Saturday.
Show.
I want to say that's going to be shit, but I kind of like Matt Sydal, but I fucking hate Ricochet.
You do not.
I do, and it is...
What is wrong with you?
I'm not going to rant, but he is one of the biggest problems with, like, modern wrestling. Like, modern...
He's a great wrestler.
Wrestlers.
Like, you're going to have to repeat that all again. Just some like it's weird. Just some keeps dropping in and out. It's like it'll be fine until you start actually making like a constructive sentence. Then it's just like, nah, fuck that. We'll just dip.
Contributions, and it's like, ah, fuck this. You're getting censored.
That's what's happening. But yeah, I don't like Ricochet. And my hatred for Ricochet really boiled over with that fucking match he had with Ospreay last year.
Oh yeah, I don't
That's
like
the point.
that either.
More of an Ospreay problem than a Ricochet problem.
Oh no, that was a Ricochet problem, and not one person was pointing it out. There was a lot of wrestlers in our group, and not one person pointed out the many problems that Ricochet has with taking big moves, and it's he doesn't sell to fuck. There was one point there, right, and it's always the point I go back to, was the biggest reason I hate that match, and that's when Ospreay kicks him in the back of the head. I'm nearly certain he kicks him in the back of the head 2 or 3 times, right? Which would render any man unconscious, but this is wrestling, fine, I'm going with that. But he just pops back up, well, Ospreay's on the fucking ropes trying to do a dive, and he just like, you're not going to sell this? You're not going to... Like, even if he had his back turned to him with his hand on his head, he'd turn around and then he hit him. Fine. But he just stood back up and went, like, dickhead, sell the fucking move, like.
Have you watched him in Lucha Underground though? He sells really well over there.
I hate Lucha Underground.
Oh, God.
It's all that, like, it's all that flippy shit to me. It just doesn't fucking...
No, but it's sold really well. Everybody sells over there.
I watched the triple threat match. It was about the first couple of weeks they were in. I can't, fuck it.
The ladder match?
Fuck it if I know who was in it. No, I don't know who was in it. All I know was that it was a triple threat match. I think it might have had Pentagon Jr. in it. I'm not completely sure. Because I don't really know much of the roster. I only know a handful of people on it. But I remember watching it going, this doesn't look like a fight to me. It just looks like a bunch of lads racking off a ton of moves and just not really putting any effort into it. And then when I went into wrestling training like the next week, I goes, it looked choreographed. And like half of the lads turn around at me and goes, the fuck do you mean it looked choreographed? It was like, it looked choreographed because half the time you could see them, you could blatantly see their heads going, like, I'm not here yet, and it's my turn to go, and then he was getting another move on top of him. It's just those are the things that kind of annoy me when I'm watching wrestling these days.
Okay.
Because I like what yeah, I want wrestling to look like these two lads are going in to beat the piss out of each other. That's what I think. That's as well what.
How do you not like Japan then?
It's not that I don't like. It's not that I don't like Japan. I will watch a lot of Japanese wrestling. It's just that I can't like. I Keen said it in one of his videos. All the Japanese wrestling that I watch, at least the big stuff, is with English-speaking wrestlers. So I like Omega, so I watch his stuff. I started getting into it because of Devitt, because he speaks English. I liked Gallows, I liked Anderson, I liked all of them, and then there's 1 or 2 Japanese wrestlers that I will say I really like. I don't mind Okada, I love Shin Nakamura, and I think Ibushi's quite good too.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to like. There's nothing there that's making me like. Not that there's nothing there that's making me want to watch it every week. Because that's not the case. It's just I'll just kind of watch the big matches and maybe watch a bit after it, but it's probably going to take like a whole show. I might end up watching that the whole show that Cody's in for the belt. Was it the G1 Climax from Miami?
That's a shit card. Don't. They have Billy going on the card.
Oh boy.
Don't.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Billy Gunn.
No, not in 1999, but in 2017.
When the Elite.
Say again?
You see his little cameo in Being the Elite latest video?
No. I don't watch that that often. I should like, but also I fucking hate the Young Bucks.
Oh, of course.
I used to love the Young Bucks. I actually genuinely like the Young Bucks as well. Until around the time they just started just becoming fucking, you know.
Spot monkeys.
Yeah. Because they were quite good in TNA. They weren't getting booked. when they weren't getting booked to be in heels one week and face the next week, and then they were split up and then they were against each other, but then they got back with each other again, and then they split up then again, and I think that all happened in the space of about 6 weeks. And by the end of it, then they just left. Like, that's probably the best thing for you, lads, because I'm nearly certain the Hardy Boys came back in then around that time as well. But no, I watched a couple of episodes of Being the Elite, especially since Cody Rhodes came back into it. I like that whole fuck the revival thing, but I don't like his reason. I don't like his reasoning behind it. It's like Young Bucks.
Cody. I don't know. I don't get it.
Don't mind him. No, I liked him in WWE, and I like him now because he's just this. No,
good.
I think he's good, but you can clearly see what's happening here. I think I can see what's happening with him going against Okada. I can fully see him beating him for the belt.
Unfortunately, so do I.
And say that again? Yeah, you can set a feud in with Omega, and then you've already got a built-in story there. He in Okada versus Omega 2, you had the Young Bucks with Omega, and then you had Cody with the rest of them come down to try and throw in the towel. So you already have that setting up for a storyline. But if he beats Okada, then he can say is that, how are you the elite when I'm the one that beat him and you couldn't do it twice? Build this story into fucking...
The problem is Cody isn't good enough in the ring to carry the IWGP heavy.
I think he is.
No.
You just haven't had a reason.
To follow Okada.
It doesn't matter who follows Okada. Let's be honest. Probably not going to be as good. Even I'll admit that one because I've watched most of his run, and it's just been good match after good match after good. It's ridiculous. Like he's incredible, but you can still, even if he only holds the belt then to Wrestle Kingdom, you have that fucking shining moment then where Omega finally does win the belt at Wrestle Kingdom, and then he can just face Okada again down the line and then beat him in the final match. He gets his...
I don't think he holds it till Wrestle Kingdom though. That's the problem. It's a short reign if anything, because the plan is Naito Okada. So and don't stray from their plans very often.
And apparently as well they book properly like 6 months in advance as well.
Yeah. So if he does win, it'll be for like a month or two, if even.
But would New Japan do that with their belt? Do they do that often, give them short ones?
Yeah, I mean, I think Naito had it for about 2 months to legitimize him, and then they took it off.
I wish I could agree. I'm going to agree with you because you watch it. That's the only reason I'm agreeing, because I don't fucking watch it properly.
Okay, I can see I'm the only Japan.
This is why we need Mike. This is why we need to get fucking Mike in the company.
Special guest. He can have his own segment just related to Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, that'll probably work because he doesn't watch WWE anymore. And I keep doing that. And anytime he posts about WWE, I always like straight in there I go, but you don't watch it, so you can't comment on it. Much like how I'm not going to comment on how shit some Japanese wrestling might be because I just don't watch it. I comment on specific matches, like I don't think that first Okada Omega match was 6 stars. Fuck right off.
Yeah, but I don't know what was.
That was a good match though. I'm not saying it was a good match because it was a phenomenal match. But when the same person only grades Sasha Banks and Bayley as DIY versus the Revival and many WWE NXT matches that have been fucking fantastic, out of 3.5, 4.5 stars, just like really. Like I've watched that. I've watched that Sasha and Bayley match from Takeover Brooklyn about 50 times, and every single time I watch it, I always get that same feeling in my stomach. I was like, I know who's going to win, but I'm still like, just fucking focus on it because it's just that was probably one of the best matches ever in NXT.
Oh, without doubt.
There's only literally DIY versus the Revival and that Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate match. But the only
Neville actually as well was amazing.
Say that again? Neville and who?
Sami Zayn versus Neville when Sami won the belt was amazing as well.
Yeah. They've had a lot of matches there that should have been fight. I shouldn't get all walked up by this 5-star thing, but I'm like,
yeah, it's only some old dude. Wait.
But if you're going to do it fucking properly, you dick. But no, that dead Meltzer. Sorry. Did you ever actually listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast? What happened when?
No.
You should listen to that, John. It's really fucking good. He just did an episode there with Vince Russo. He's done episodes talking about Brian Pillman in the WWF, Kurt Angle, Owen Hart. He goes into pay-per-views as well, and he like tells you all about how shit was done, and it's actually really, really good. But like anytime it gets brought up that that like Dave Meltzer said something about it, he just goes, "Fuck Dave Meltzer." Never agrees with him because he does not like him at all. Like, but yeah, if there's any podcast, that's quite good. What is it? Jim Cornette's podcast is great. Tony Schiavone has a
controversial podcast.
Yeah, shit that just gets me. Like, I like some podcasts; they're fantastic. Like I like Sam Roberts' podcast, but I only listen to the interviews because the interviews are really good.
Yeah, his recent with Mary Scroll was brilliant. Actually,
I have to listen to that one. I actually gonna listen to that one. I know later on. And
Scroll actually name drops OTT, and he says he's more over there than he is in any other company on the planet, which is really
cool. I saw that. Yeah, that was actually cool name drop, especially when there's like a lot of people listening to that podcast. It's just great exposure. The Jim Cornette's one's good. Sam Roberts' one is good. Bruce Pritchard's one is good. Tony Schiavone has one that he talks about kind of the same as Bruce Pritchard, but he does it on WCW and on their shit. That's really cool. That's confusing. Say that again?
It's probably really confusing. WCW.
He handles himself well enough. It's just that he doesn't like when because Bruce Pritchard was so like he was basically like Vince's right hand man for a long, long time. Yeah. It's very it's a lot more interesting to listen to him than Tony Schiavone, who knows his stuff from being there, but it's like he doesn't get into it as deep as you want him to.
Yeah.
When you're listening to him. Yeah, Bruce Pritchard's one of Jim Cornette's one of my favourite. They're the ones I listen to week in, week out without fail. Yeah.
Not Jim Ross now.
Sometimes depends the way he's on it. Same with Austin's one and Jericho's one.
Yeah, I find Jim Ross is far too positive on the product all the time, though. So I'm kind of like, dude, come on, be real.
Yeah, come on.
I don't think he ever has a bad word to say about WWE.
I have listened to Vince Russo's podcast from time to time, but that's only when I want to like hear something interesting. Like I want to hear him rock off about something stupid, like give a wrong opinion on something that just happened. Like the best one I thought was his most recent one, where he was talking about Bruce Pritchard's podcast on him. They did a whole episode on Vince Russo, kind of based around the book he brought out a couple of 10 years ago. And what was it? Fucking. There's a point in the book where he says I sort of paraphrasing, but he's the one that says, "Oh, I came up with the Montreal screw job," and Bruce Pritchard said that's bullshit. Because we all know the story about how that happened, and doesn't need to be said again. But then Vince Russo like goes, "I never said that." As he's holding the book in his hand, I never said that. I never said those words. I never said it. And he puts that up a lot in his hands, and you just like open the book to that page, and you'd see that you fucking said it. I know he brought on. He invited Bruce Pritchard to come on the podcast, but I don't think he accepted it because
for safety reasons, I suppose.
And as well, they kind of have a bad history because when Vince left first, Jim Cornette used Bruce Pritchard's home phone to ring him to tell him essentially to go fuck himself. Funny, but he knew, and I think there was something going on there anyway where he knew he couldn't get Jim. He knew he wasn't going to be able to string him up on it. So what he did was he found out that it was actually Bruce who rang him. It was rang off Bruce's phone. So he essentially rang WWE's HR and got Bruce Pritchard in trouble. And like got him in serious shit for what he said, and they didn't really talk much after that. There seems to be a bit of heat there off that as well. And as well in the most recent podcast, he's just like, how does Bruce Pritchard know what he's talking about when he was drunk or high 90% of the time he was there or something? Or Bruce is like, Bruce Pritchard seems, you can clearly hear alright that he's very like defensive in some of the shit they've done in the past, but you know that like he's never coming back into that company ever again, so he kind of doesn't really give a fuck what he talks about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is good, like, so.
It's not too bad. But,
Oh yeah.
Back to OOTT, I suppose.
How do we even get onto that again? Go on.
Do either of you guys go to the shows? Do you watch on VOD?
I've watched some of their stuff on VOD, but I've never been to one of the shows.
Oh, it's an experience. It's an experience. But
Been to
they've
what?
announced a huge match for next weekend. They have Keith Lee, Sami Callihan, and Donovan Dijak against British Strong Style. So somebody's going to dog in the ring, pretty much.
I won't mind seeing that now just for Sami Callihan, because I actually quite like him.
And Keith Lee is a monster as well, though.
Oh my gosh, he sounds great. I'll probably end up watching it.
You should definitely. It sounds like it's going to be a great match.
Is that the one as well? That's not the next one with Foley, is that? No, that's in August, isn't it?
Wrestling.
Next one is what?
What else was announced for? Kings of the North. Were they? Is that the name? Kings of the North? King of the North?
Yeah, Kings of the North and British Strong Style up in Belfast.
Oh yeah.
Because they're running 2 shows in 2 days. Like,
That's quite good though. CCW as well. What the fuck they got like?
I don't really keep up with them now, but they have a few names.
They've got some big names. So champion at the moment, the Pastor is their champion at the moment. I went to that show where he won the belt. It was great.
Yeah, was that the ladder match where he like pulled the tile off the roof?
No, that was when he actually won the. Yeah, I think that's when he won the briefcase. They put his head off the roof and they went to fucking Botchamania, which was dead. But I mean, I remember when I started training with him first, and I watched a couple of those shows, and it was great. But like, it's not that I didn't think they would do well, because Lee clearly knew what he was fucking doing.
Yeah.
And he's really good at what he does, and he's put a lot of fucking effort into that. As well, I also didn't think Irish wrestling would get this big. I was sort of a bit like that too. Yeah, it's kind of blown up in the last 2 or 3 years. I just didn't expect him to have like the roster on the next show that he has is fucking. It's pretty stacked. Like he's got a couple of guys from WCPW. He's got Will Dempsey. Passes.
Joseph Connors there recently as well for something.
Joseph Connors, yeah, he's been on a good couple of shows. Jody Fleisch, he's had like that place. It's like, I hate to say it, but it's like a smaller version of OTT. It's like just down the south, and it's got its own thing going on. And it doesn't have, and the crowds, the crowds aren't as raucous, yeah, but they're good. Probably one of my favorite chants ever was Joe Lycan. Have you ever heard of him? The Lone Wolf. He's with CCW since day one, but he's a heel now. He's with their faction called the Establishment. And what was it? Fucking, he was in the ring. Now usually Lycan would wear like a singlet type thing over his shoulders, but that came off, or he took it off at one point, and he's got an incredibly hairy back. And he just had the fans singing for 20 minutes. Just hairy back, hairy back, hairy back. And it was brilliant. And I actually talked to him after the show, and I know him as well, and he was just like, that was so catchy when I was doing what I was doing. I nearly joined in. And he was like, no, I have to stick with what I'm doing. Because they're like, their products as well, like they'll get in, the heels and stuff will get into it and they'll join in, but it's very old school in the sense that heels are heels, faces are faces. Stick to it, and it's really good. Like the wrestling is great, it doesn't get talked about enough in the forum as well, and it really should. Because he's done an incredible job at, you know, building up. Essentially, there was no wrestling in Cork when he started. Like, fucking none.
Location to have it, like, it mustn't be that big, but it seems to be pretty, like, successful.
He started off with it again. Like, he started with PG shows, and that was all he did. And the very first show I was on was the very first show he did as an over 18 show, and it went off very well. The main event kind of went to shit because about 5 minutes into it, Bingo Balance and Ross Brown tried to lock up, and Ross Brown blew his shoulder out instantly. And I started to watch it, and I was like, this looks wrong. And then it kind of dawned on me, it dawned on everyone all at the same time, like, he's fucked his shoulder, and he couldn't do, like, Ross was the trainer, so Ross could, like, pop his shoulder back in and out, like, there was nothing to him. But, like, he couldn't pop it back in. And I remember he passed me on the way in, and I went, good match, even though I know it wasn't a good match because it was an autopilot of shite. And he just went straight up against the wall to try and pop his shoulder back into place, and it wasn't back into place. He could not get it back in. Like, training on Sunday, his shoulder was still kind of drooped a bit. He could not get his fucking shoulder back into place properly because it just wouldn't do it. Like, so training that day was great fun because he was just, as you can imagine, a happy man coming in unable to fucking move his arms properly. And then so that was what, November? He got the title taken off him 2 days later. And there was a whole lot of shit that happened there that I'm not going to get into because I already know about half the fucking story.
Get into indie studies on our first episode.
Say that again?
Let's not get into indie controversy on our first episode.
The only indie controversy I can honestly get into, and I get where it was coming from, was the reason Ross took over, like, training that time, when he took over first, was Blake Norton, which was the person who could arguably say brought wrestling over here in the first place, was going to train us, and the two of them don't like each other. At least Ross hates Blake Norton. Like, bringing up Blake to Ross is like bringing up Vince Russo to fucking Jim Cornette. It's just fucking, he hates him. Like, so I never got it because I only ever did 1 or 2 sessions with Blake, and they seemed to be quite good. But as I went to training less and less because of a number of things, I would go to maybe 2 sessions a month, at least to keep my fucking ear to the ground and just still do it. I was still going to every show, I was still setting up, but every single one of the training sessions would be like the exact same. I was just like, I get it now. After all this time, it was like 2 years, I was like, I completely get why Ross doesn't like him. He's shit. And he was fucking bad too, like. Oh my god. Every single time we went into training with Ross, it was like, he would mix in that American style with like that old British style. And then every single time then you went to training with Blake, it was like, why am I doing the same thing I've done every second week for the last 6 months?
Our old school head Irish way. Have to hit pause, repeat. Kind of
yeah, and it was like, fine, yeah, that's fine, because if you have to do drills, it's fine, but it's like, it was just that every 2 weeks I was there.
No progression.
There was no progression. No, yeah, and you could see, and you can see it now with the trainers. They're getting better training, and there's a lot of good talent down there. You've got Alex Jeffries, who used to be called Omega. He's really good. You've Ricky Combat. He's fantastic. He trains them now because he stepped up when he literally had no one to train because Blake fucked off out of there. He left him high and dry. He trains them. He's very fucking good at what he does. You have Conor Charisma. He's great because he's a skinny little shit, but he thinks he's Rick Rude, which is fantastic, and it works so well. DRC, he's quite good down there. Lee was a promoter, but then he ended up actually training to become a wrestler, and even won a belt over in Switzerland there for about 6 months with Swiss Pro Wrestling. He was the French-speaking country's champion for like 6-7 months. You've got a great talent down there. You have a fella that used to be called, you have Oh fuck, a couple of lads from main stage and all that kind of stuff. Fabulous Nicky. I think does he work with OTT? Nicky.
Yeah, he's down in MSW.
Yeah, he worked with CCW for a long time. He did a lot of the early stuff. The ward worked down there for a while, especially when he came back. Kaza G, she worked a lot of her stuff down there for ages.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. He started really small and to build up what he's did. He's done a lot of work. I'm gushing over it right now, and I shouldn't be. But
watch out. Seems like it's gonna keep growing, kind of.
Yeah, the only problem he has, I think, is that he doesn't get his shows up quick enough. Like OTT are what, 3 or 4 days after when they get taped. DCW could be 6-7 months. Like. It's the only drawback. You'd have to go to every single one of those shows to make sure you're catching up with what's happening. Especially at the start, because not a lot of people were going. Well, let's not that not a lot of people were going to them. It was mainly kids. So who the fucking kids? They're not going to fucking pay attention to what's happening. They were loud crowds. I remember the very first time we did a show up about 15 minutes away from my house. He needed a venue, and I was like, I know a place. Just let me see, can I know someone who could set it up? And we went up there, and I was like, this works, this is good. It was like 120 people inside there when it started, and up until that point, it was probably the loudest show he's ever put on. To that point, anyway. It's actually up on YouTube because I was in the main event. After I'm bragging, I got my head kicked in for 5 minutes. It was great. That was actually, out of all the wrestlers I've ever met, there's not a bad word I can say about any of them, except for JC Williams, who's a bit of a dickhead. I don't know if you know him, but he's a fucking idiot.
Alright.
I remember when I went there, I was getting told what's happening. I was like, this is not a wrestling match. You're getting battered for 10 minutes. But you'll get saved at the end. It'll be a whole thing. The crowd will probably be behind you, which they were. The fucking place was shaking. Like, the ring was literally vibrating. They were that loud.
Nice.
And I went up to JC, like, well before the show started. And I was like, I know what the match is. I just kind of have an idea of what we can do. And I was like, my idea was, because I did a splash as a finisher. Now, I got about 2 inches off the floor, so it looked really shit. So I said, look, try and hit me with the RKO after you belt me, because that was his finisher, was the ace crusher. But I'll push it off. I'll hit you with the splash, you'll kick out, I'll try and go for it again, and then hit me with the RKO, or hit me with the package pile driver, and end it. And I said that to Lee, I said that to my trainer, and I put the idea into a couple of people, like, that sounds good. And I said it to him, and he literally stood there and he goes, no, you're giving me an elbow and that's it. I was like, you just invited this arrogance off him. And then he fucked Lee over because he refused to drop the belt. And it was nothing. So.
Alright.
Yeah, let's get into other stuff, because I'm going to just keep talking.
Hey, you got anything you want to bring? Topics you want to mention? Out of interest?
The only big wrestling story was Rulio, wasn't it?
Rulio?
Him getting signed by NXT. He was the only. That's the only kind of big news I can think of.
Well, they've announced a few names for the Mae Young Classic as well.
Oh, they did, yeah. Tessa Blanchard. And the Alpha Female. Tony Storm? Is that another one?
Tony Storm, yeah, the Progress Champion. I mean, it's a good field so far.
I kind of want Brian to bring in a couple of young girls from, well, not that young, but a couple of wrestlers from America. It was Hudson Envy. She's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And Ruby Reyes. She's also another really good one. I'd like if they got brought into it. And the obvious ones would be Martina and fucking
Katie Harvey.
Katie Harvey is going to be fucking huge. Jesus Christ, ridiculous. You could even see that when she was. You could even see that when she was when I was watching her in CTW at Stout. She was already working for a while at that point, and I was just like looking at her matches, going, "She's fucking brilliant." She was like head and shoulders above everyone else as well who was wrestling at that point, especially with the females. Because really, at one point, all you had was what Kazuji, her, another diva, another wrestler as well called her name was Siren, I think.
Oh, that's all it is now. Martina.
Yeah, but
Katie
yeah.
Kelly.
Oh no, you still have that one from. She just debuted on a PWU show. What's her name? The whole shebang. What's her name? Her name escaped me, but she's another one. You have Raven down at CCW. She's the only one. She's fucking brilliant. I remember watching her train with Ross, and she was taking the shit way too easy. It was like, you were not starting off. You clearly had training before this. And you also have Valkyrie as well. She's worked a lot with PWU. I think she works with Katie Harvey. She got trained under her, and she's worked with CCW. There's actually more female wrestlers now than ever, and they're all really fucking good. There's one or two more.
MSW has but the main OTT shows has 2, and then whatever import they can get.
Yeah, it's alright. That's how we usually know they want those ones. There's a lot of female talent though in this country at the moment.
Yeah, they just
It's essentially doubled or tripled from where it was when I started. When I started even getting anywhere nearly interested into the Irish wrestling scene, it has literally tripled. Like, there's a lot of good fucking talent on the place.
hopefully we see it showcased anyway soon.
Yeah, I know there's 2 more. But go on, anyway. When is that?
Katie Harvey and Martina are, you know.
Yeah, Katie Harvey's works very closely with another couple of girls. Valkyrie is one of them. I think they're going out, but they definitely train with each other. The junior heavyweight champion, is it LJ Cleary?
LJ Cleary. Oh, I'm really high on him as well. He's gonna be pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I saw him at that Contender show. He was pretty awesome.
he worked with CCW now as well.
Alright.
And also they used to be the Irish tag team champions. The Woods brothers. They're also fantastic.
There's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
Whereas OTT is just the super indie now, pretty much.
Yeah, OTT is a super indie and kind of everybody else is just sort of just a little bit below them.
Yeah. I mean, OTT has like a few local talents, but a lot less than a few months ago, even.
Yeah, they started off with a lot of people from main stage, didn't they? And then they kind of they have a lot of imports now. Like a ton.
Yeah, I mean, like the main event is 2 British people. The semi-main event for the next show is no Irish people. I think Jordan Devlin's is like the only match announced for an Irish guy in it, so
that's
it works. It's great, but for the local scene, it's kind of a bit of a downer because
I remember
the showcase.
I remember when someone said I remember just hearing this a lot. I think they were on about the British indie scene, but it sort of works over here too. It's you start to carry with national talent and bring in a couple of imports because they'll stay for the national talent, but they'll be interested because of the fact that you're bringing in, let's say, fucking X-Pac and fucking all that shit. Having 1 or 2 of them in the show, but they've started on the opposite, where they've started with the national talent and moved mainly towards the fucking imports, which is not a slighting them, it's not like me bashing them or anything, but they're kind of like
it's easy to do though because it draws. I mean, they sell out easy, you know.
So I tried to get Scrap Mania tickets and I just lost out on them straight away.
Yeah, no, those flew out the door. Like I was on at 10. Missed it. Missed front row, second row, third row.
I tried again for me and a couple of lads and say walk, and it was just I walked into what I went, missed out nose anyway. It's like what's left? I was like nose bleeds, and they were like, yeah, leave that off.
Yeah, no, it's like 1,200 tickets went in 20 minutes or something.
Fucking hell.
They broke
for
it anyway.
an Irish wrestling show, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it was pretty like amazing to everybody I knew who'd been going a while. I think it was just the Bullet Club that drew everybody and their kid and their dog. Like,
but like we were saying earlier, Irish wrestling blew up in the last couple of years. So we say what 4 years ago there was So 4 or 5 years ago, all you had was, from my own head now, tell me if I'm wrong,
Tracy.
you had Paul Tracy, and then you had the company's weight. You already had Mace Edge Wrestling and IWW.
Yeah, the Irish Whip guys, and that was pretty much it.
And that was pretty much it. And then the last 5 years, you've gotten CCW, PWU, and OTT. And OTT have gotten so fucking big, they had a fucking agreement with like WWE for the UK tournament. PWU got mentioned on that. CCW got mentioned on that.
Wow.
Just like when CCW got mentioned on that, I sat there for a second and went, "What?" I was just like, "What fucking year is this?"
Yeah.
A big company is aware.
Say that again, Daniel?
Like a big company like them is aware of the smaller companies is huge.
Yeah. It was just, especially when he said it for Tucker, it's like Tucker played his trade with PWU and CCW. And I was just like, okay. Michael Cole just said CCW and PWU on a fucking WWE show. The fuck?
I mean, hey, look, we're the best wrestling on a UK show or WWE show.
That UK title needs a kick soon, though.
Yeah.
What do you
I
mean?
mean, it's pretty fun seeing Pete Dunne bringing it around to every local show.
Oh no, that's great and all, but like, what? That show that you had a couple of weeks ago, they haven't got.
Tapings,
It
led nowhere.
Yeah, they've done the shows in Norwich, right, which have been grand, which were great. But other than that, they've only kind of put the belt on. It seems to be the first taping after a takeover event. They have them the first week after that, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no kind of hype around it. There's no. Pete Dunne's great.
Because the World of Sport things kind of failed, and that was why they really started it. So I'm starting to think maybe because World of Sport didn't take off, they're like,
that kind of went out the fucking window, alright.
Fairly fucked that up.
Anything else happening in Irish wrestling? The OTT shows and 25
really,
minutes with CCW.
I mean, the usual Becky Lynch, David, just amazing how they're all on the main roster in WWE, but
Yeah.
Next OTT shows.
Say that again?
You just heading to the next OTT shows.
I won't be. I'd be saving up because I'm going to an episode. I'm going to an episode of Raw that I got invited to last year, but the dates keep getting bumped. So we've already had one episode of Raw since last summer in Philadelphia, and that was the Go Home to Mania, I think, or the episode a couple of weeks after it. So we got offered that, and we said no because it was just money and time. We were like, "No, we'll leave it off." So then they said, "There's another one in August." But when we went to look to see where the actual dates, like the arena where we're going to was, the dates changed. So instead of going like sideways to Philadelphia, they've gone down to Connecticut. So we emailed the people who were dealing with us, and it was like, "What's happening?" And they came back to us and they said, "There's no scheduled events for Philadelphia as it stands for the rest of 2016. So I was like, okay. So when I looked for, they goes, you're now scheduled to be coming to the next event, which is in January. So I went, okay. So I looked up when January was. As it stands, I'm going to the Rumble. So I'm actually going to the Royal Rumble next year. As it stands. So that's why that's what I'm saving up my money towards, is fucking going to the Royal Rumble and not turning into a complete another fucking merc when I get back.
I'll do a whole episode on your experience and then just you complaining about the spark.
Oh shit! It was fucking and the best thing as well, it's like I'm not even going to be like front or second row or anything like that. I'm up in like a VIP box and it's like free drink and free food. It's just like
That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Like who was number 30? I don't know.
There was a rumble on, lads, but I was more focused on the fucking free shrimp I was getting, the free beer I was getting, so.
The prawn sandwiches.
Huh?
The prawn sandwiches.
Yep. We've about 15 minutes left before Dan has to go off and pick up his girlfriend, so.
What's the crystal name?
Anything else to talk about? Anything else that happened, or should we just leave it and just
have a big show? Kind of. New Japan announced G1, but
oh shit! Progress got their funding for that documentary they wanted to do.
yeah, they offered a lot of like special prizes now. They got it. Pretty sure one guy donated like 3K.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That stays not because I kind of like Progress. Not
It's the best.
It's great. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright then. This has not been a complete disastrous first episode.
Yay!
Yay!
Mission accomplished.
We'll do it again next week, but I think next week we'll do it Saturday instead of Friday.
I think Saturday is the OTT show, so we might have to do it early.
Cool. How early? We think.
Very early.
Will we say? So what will we do with that later on? Well, we know it's Saturday because Friday I'm not going to be around. So, yep. Alright then. This has not been a disastrous show. Alright then. Luck, lads. See you.
See.
Good luck.